Howdy y'all, I am Ice Gold, and today I'm going to be showing y'all the best Storm gear setup for max level PvP. Now, Storm is definitely in an interesting spot in the meta. It's not a meta school necessarily, like it's not top 3 or anything, but it does still perform. It could really put up some surprise pressure and all that. It's definitely a very sustainable school against the right schools, I guess you could say, and yeah, otherwise, I mean, it's very volatile. Like, it can be fragile, but, you know, if you keep your berries and, you know, stay healing and all that, you can win in a lot of cases, and that's like a real good defining feature of Storm right now. So let's talk about the gear. So these are the stats first, just to show off. I've got 207 Storm damage. This is the cap. It's definitely what you want to be going for. The biggest issue plaguing Storm right now is the fact that its off-school damage cannot get anywhere close to where it like really should be for Storm to still get value, because dual schooling into, I guess, less or lower DPP schools is kind of the only thing that they could do, considering Storm's the highest. But, you know, you can still get pretty decent damage out of your fire counters, so there's that. But yeah, perfect damage to Storm. This is obviously going to lack a lot. There's a delta of about 79, 78 if you have the last pin, which I don't. But yeah, it's a hard knock life for Storms in the stat department. But especially considering their resist is... This also can't get anywhere close to the cap for Storm. The resist cap for Storm right now is 56, which is pitifully low. I'm pretty sure 5 out of the 7 schools full pierce that, but Storm can't even get there because in order to balance out all of their other stats, they've got to sacrifice some resist. So that is what Storm has to do. Some Storms don't even run much resist at all. Like, they don't even run spell proof on their pet or some other stuff going on. It's like... Yeah, I mean, Storm's definitely got its issues. I will say that, and resistance is definitely one of them. For your accuracy, I still have my raid setup on, so get rid of this 10% balance accuracy and add 12% to the fire accuracy. So that means, basically, you've got 35 Storm accuracy, which is perfect, right on the dot, but only 18% fire accuracy, and I cannot tell you how many times I have fizzled my fire elves and my elephants. It is a strug, but, you know, I mean, you do what you gotta. Storm's off-schooling is really and truly that bad. Like, you need to weave fire to counter shields and all that, and I guess traps occasionally, but yeah, I mean, the accuracy on it is just atrocious. The damage is way below what it should be, but yeah, overall, the 18% fire accuracy, so you're rocking that 7% fizzle chance, but perfect accuracy to Storm, so you at least have that going. 679 crit, this is a pretty good multiplier, but obviously everybody else's block is going to reduce that by quite a bit. Speaking of block, your own block is not quite that high, and this is a higher block setup for Storm, which is kind of interesting. But yeah, I mean, yeah, you're pretty fried at that point. For your armor piercing, I run the Clockwork Courser for that extra 2%. So, I mean, my bag is just 122 out of 80 right now. I'm still waiting on this 12-month membership code from extra credits, but I doubt I'm getting it at this point. So, 51 Fire Pierce and 59 Storm Pierce. This is perfect. 59 Storm Pierce is the cap. So, with the Clockwork Courser, of course, you will, in fact, get there. For outgoing healing, this is the first school where that's a stat that matters. And for Storm, you get about 64% if you are running this specific theme, which we'll go over in a minute. And then 44% pip conversion, not really something you lean on too much, but your shads are pretty nice, and your pips are maxed out, which is good as well. And then 198 Arch Mastery, so pretty good. Now it's time for the actual gear to sort of show you how to get those stats. So, for the hat, Jabalba Crying Sky Helm, there is actually a new raid, the Lemuria raid, that gives the exact same stat template. I just keep this because, I mean, who knows, maybe I'll use this Starblade someday, and I also just have had this for quite some time, but if you are new to PvP, I would say definitely go for the Lemuria raid hat first, because it'll be way easier to get, and you'll need way less preparation for it. So there's that. For the robe, I have the Fierce Dreamstalker armor. Of course, swap out those balance accuracy pins for fire ones, and yeah, I mean, this gives you a lot of extra health, even though your health is still pitifully low. But, you know, it gives a nice amount of hit chance, some resist, and critical block. Critical block is really the stat that matters more between those two, and this also gives you plenty of accuracy. Pierce is kind of lacking, and you have to make up for it elsewhere with your gear, but it at least is good enough. I don't think that there's any better robes than this, and of course that 85% Fatty Storm Shield for the mirror, that can also be quite good. And yeah, it's like this robe is really just good because like of all of the extra health and crit block that you get, because Storms can't really afford to run things like Hunhao robe. Hunhao robe would actually go pretty hard if you didn't lose 499 HP, but it is what it is. Hunhao robe, like, yeah, I mean, the Stalker robe is just way, way, way better. There is the no resist option with the shocking August Sage coat, but even then, I don't think I would recommend this, because even though you're gaining in some of your offensive stats and all of that, you would want to run this hat as well for that extra power pin for extra accuracy, so you get, you know, a 1% fizzle chance on your fire counters. But if you were running this, I'd still say run this robe, just because you get the 2 power pins, and like you don't on this. So there is that, as well as getting an extra about 330 health from the Stalker robe. So pretty good there. The boots are going to be the Burrower's Divination boots, and these are honestly very strong. These drop from the Burrower's lore pack, or whatever it's called, something like that, and these also drop from General Lightbane, which is a gold key boss in the Last Wood of Chrysalis. So this is a must-have, because between this and your hat, your Xibalba Crown Sky Helm, or your Lemuria raid hat, whatever you decide to get, these give you 2 shield pins for a combined total of 46% outgoing healing, and that is a stat that Storm really does need to lean on in some matchups. And yeah, I mean, it's just that shield pin is really the whole reason why you run this. It is a big reason why, you know, you give up like offensive stats with fire and all that, but you know, that shield pin, it is still quite nice. But you get a ton of damage, a ton of pierce, good enough crit block and health and all that. The next best thing is probably the Stalker boots, which give you like a negligible health increase and negligible pip increase, which isn't even going to matter. And the issue there is that you lose damage and pierce, but you gain accuracy, so maybe you could sort of finagle it with the stats, but I would obviously recommend the Burrower boots just over everything, because you hit the damage cap perfectly with those. So yeah, this is like a good second place. This will drop from like Wallaru and all that. So second place, good, but this is by far the best. For the wand, I have the Xibalba Crying Sky Sword, and again, the new Lemuria raid, the Ghastly Conspiracy raid, does drop an equivalent. I just like this one because that extra Star Blade, as well as a second 85% Fatty Storm Shield, that can really come into play in Storm Mirrors. Can be very nice, helps to build pips, that sort of thing. So I just like this, but to each their own. This is just really, really hard to get, because it drops from what is still the hardest content in the game, being the Crying Sky raid. So yeah, it's very hard to get, but I would say that this is the best in slot over the Lemuria Raid Wand, but if you're just looking for the stats, the Lemuria Raid Wand is what you want. Another notable thing to mention is that the Fanciful Fairy K-Pack drops the carbon copies of this hat, these boots, not these boots actually, just this hat. I autopiloted, thinking they gave like Xibalba boots, or thinking you needed Xibalba boots, but this hat and this wand both drop from the Fanciful Fairy K Horde pack as well. or at least equivalents. They don't give the same item cards, of course, but the same stat profile. So if you don't want to raid, that is your only option. Unfortunately, there is no better option. And it'll also drop this Athame, this exact same Athame profile, same with the Lemuria raid Athame profile, which I do actually have for once. This is like the first piece that I can actually show you all the drops from the new one, but they are the exact same. It's just the main thing here is that outgoing healing boost, that's 7%. It can be quite nice, especially for your heals. So overall, pretty good. So yeah, just this is what you want. That extra 525 health from the square jewel, also pretty good. So just one of these, or the Faeriequeens Athame, that's going to be what you want. And then for the amulet, I have the Hoonhouse Crying Sky amulet. This is the exact same Shocking Crime Fighters class, but there is an amulet out there that drops from the Lambent Fire boss in Avalon, the Crystal Caves, a gold key boss, and it'll drop the Squall King's Charm, and this will give like 2% less resist, but like similar pip conversion, health, crit block, that sort of thing. But the main appeal to that is the fact that it gives you an extra copy of Steel Pip, and in some matchups, Storm and Steel Pip is really, really strong. So yeah, I mean, Squall King's Charm is probably the best in slot, but I just have this because it also gives a Dissipate, which can be nice in the mirror. So, you know, I have this piece for the mirror, I have this piece for the mirror, and I have this piece for the mirror. So that's sick. I didn't even intend for that to happen, but it is still quite nice. And I also just don't want to have to go to the hassle of making a new Stormfire Pierce jewel. And then for the ring, of course, just like always, it is going to be the Wild Skyfarer's Band. This also gives outgoing healing, and is really, really good for that reason. You can, like, this is the version that drops on the Skyfarer's Horde pack, but Raquel here will give you the, what's it called? The Meowyardy rematch right here. And from this Meowyardy challenge mode rematch, you can get the, I guess, the free versions of these rings. It's like the exact same stat template. I have the life one here, so yeah, it's like the farming the Meowyardy rematch is the free way to get this ring. So this is a must-have, especially because it gives like 4% extra pierce, or not pierce, that would be insane, but 4% extra power pip chance, and that matters a lot. So yep, you don't fall off the damage cap either with it, so that sets it above things like the Reaver ring and all that. So for sure, just that 22% power pip chance, that 11% outgoing healing. This is a very important piece, arguably the most important for the Storm. So for the pet, this is a Rain Beetle pet that gives 4 Storm Beetle item cards. These are just really good for like shield breakers. I mean, it's a hit and 25 blade. Like it is pretty good. The only thing that's a little odd about this one is the fact that you need pip boost, which is kind of an interesting talent. Some will use the Dragonlance jewel, the Kroga jewel, that only comes out in June, actually. So it is July 26th as I record this. So, you know, that's about 10 months and some odd days before you can get the Dragonlance jewel again. So awesome. But this is definitely the pet and the stat profile that you want on the pet. Just that double Mighty Breaker. Not double Mighty Breaker, double damage, single resist, mighty, armor breaker, but pip boost for the last talent, because as y'all recall, I have 100% pip chance on the dot. This one gets me there. So yeah, that 5% pip chance, just really, really good. It really helps offset this hat that doesn't give any, so definitely the play there. And then for the mount, like I said, a Clockwork Courser, my bag is just 42%. 42%. I can't even speak English. It's late at night. 42 over the limit, so I can't go get the Clockwork Courser out of my bag. But you know the vibes. It gives an extra 2% Pierce imperative to get to the Pierce cap. That sort of deal. So, yep. For the deck, I just use the Shocking August Sage deck. This is where I lose a bit of Fire Pierce. Kind of sad reacts, to be honest. But you need this 11 extra damage from the circle slot. and the extra Dark Surge is kind of nice. It's just best in slot, I would say. Like, it definitely beats out the Reaver deck because of the Arch Mastery. The Houndhound deck is kind of interesting. It gives some extra HP, which can be nice. A little bit less on the crit block and critical rating side, but it does give a Stormwing. Not the best card. Dark Surge is way better, but, you know, you had that extra, I guess, bit of stats if you want it. I just like the Dark Surge just because, you know, you're already not packing too many of those. Only 3 in main deck with a 4th here, as opposed to the usual 4 at +1 for 5. So, yeah, just that's what we're on about. So, that's the whole gear set right there. So, just to go over one last time, Xibalba hat, Faeriequeens, and new Ghastly Conspiracy hat will be the same. Dreamstalker robe, I think it's the only one of its kind. I can't remember if the Selenopolis robes are the same, or at least for this template. I know Stalker and Kansu have some different, or some differences, at least on the wand. But then Burrower boots, these can be obtained for free. You just need to farm General Lightbane for them in the last wood. And then this wand, of course, it's the same story as the hat, Crying Sky, Ghastly Conspiracy, or Faeriequeens pack. That's going to be how you get this. For the Athame, again, Crying Sky raid, Ghastly Conspiracy raid, Faeriequeens horde pack. That's how you get this Athame with the outgoing healing on it. And then this also drops from the Crying Sky raid and has its own counterpart from the Lemuria raid, but the Squall King's charm from Lambent Fire, that's his name, in the Crystal Caves in Avalon, is preferable just for that extra Steel Pip. Just because Steel Pip is an insane card that really shouldn't be allowed in PvP, but it is, so Storms capitalize on it the best out of any school. For the ring, Wild Skyfarer's banned one more time, and you can get that for free over here from Raquel. And then, yeah, Rain Beetle, just like hatching hell. And then the Clockwork Courser only comes back around every once in a while. It's a bundle mount, but sometimes it'll pop back up at the Crown Shop for 7,500 crowns. And then, of course, this deck drops from Takanobu the Masterless in the Cave of Solitude and Mushu. However, if you're going for the Squall King's charm, Lambent Fire does drop an exact carbon copy of this deck. So you can knock 2 birds out with 1 stone. You got the amulet and the deck at the same time from the same boss. So pretty neat. But that is going to wrap up this gear setup video. So thank y'all for watching. I've been Ice Gold. Be sure to like, subscribe, and leave like 50 comments for the algorithm. My Discord is down in the description. If you want to chat with me some more, if you want hatches from this pet, it is in the kiosk. And I will see y'all later.